All right, well, I wanted to make this video, as you could probably tell from the title. It's been 1 year since I was at Google. And actually, I started on Pi Day, March 14, 2022. Right now, I think the video is going to come out after March 14, 2023. Like specifically, it's coming out 3 days after, 4 days after. Yeah, March 16th, so 4 days after. And I wanted to make this video because I have a feeling that people are gonna ask me this all the time. Like, did you regret leaving Accenture? Do you like it at Google? How is it like with the layoffs? I'm gonna go into it in this video. So the first thing I want to talk about is, did I regret leaving Accenture? And I have no regrets. I like it. I really like it at Google, particularly because that I willingly chose to go into the Google shopping area. While before I was put into the Workday area, Workday Financials area. I was not choosing that. They chose me for that, or more like they chose that for me is probably a better way to put it. But I was thinking that I wanted to go into technology consulting to really explore all these technology areas, explore all these industries, explore everything like that. Google Shopping, I feel like, is definitely the next step because I've kind of honed in a product I actually want. And the other thing is that all the clients are mostly in retail. There's still different industry verticals like, tech, auto, or health and public goods kind of thing. So there's still a lot of variety. Every business is still very different despite doing it in a retail way, because how else are you going to do Google Shopping? You can't not be in retail and do Google Shopping. And everything I'm doing can be different because one thing I didn't realize is that there's internal and external initiatives. External, of course, is your day-to-day client-facing role with your clients. And then there's an internal one that is very unique to being at a technology company, because now you're trying to improve the product. You're trying to improve the way that the teams within Google interact with each other. They call it OKRs. Just many different things that you can do that are beyond just the client-facing work, that you're now working with your team. It's not like you're the only team working with your client. You're doing all these work that are actually powering the work everyone else does, which is really cool. So I like the fact that I chose to be in this area versus being put in an area, if that makes sense. And then when I actually talked to my fiance, Addison, maybe at the time you're watching this, who knows that we're married with my future husband, I see with the work he's doing and I see the work I'm doing, and I'm like, I actually want to do this work because I was hired for it. Meanwhile, for him, his situation was a little different. He chose Workday because I referred him in, so naturally he'd want to do Workday. So he chose that area, so naturally he'll want to do it. In my situation, I did not choose to do Workday. I did not choose to do the work that I did. I did not choose the clients that I worked with. Maybe one time I worked with one client that I personally wanted. That was it. And that was because I was just like, I heard about the project and I wanted to be on it, and that's end of story. So that was probably a big thing, is that I'm not a person that likes to be given or told or voluntold what to do, especially if there's no flexibility to leave the area. So when I applied for the advertising solutions architect role, they did not tell me what it was as well. It was like Google Shopping after the first round. But at least I was told before I committed. And when I heard it was shopping, I'm like, oh, yes, I've had experience in retail. I love e-commerce. I love to shop. So that is in there. And I work with a lot of clients that I actually shop at. So I thought that was really cool. And it's really cool too, because a lot of times, you're working on a new software that has a lot of potential. Workday Financial is one of them. But I didn't have that much work to be able to work on that product. In this case, I would have to work at Workday to be able to do that. But I work at the actual company that does Google Shopping, and that had a lot of fulfillment for me. I was able to work with some clients to be able to get the things that I was thinking about out into fruition. That was really cool. So yes, I have no regrets leaving Accenture. I did technically, thinking about I heard about the layoffs, and I'm not going to go too in depth of that, but I was thinking, if there was another round of layoffs and I was included in that, I always had Accenture to go back to, because Workday Financials, as I said, is growing. At the time of this recording, I don't know if it's going to be 5-10 times down the line, but my certifications are still valid within a year. So technically, I could just recertify. A lot of it I still know. It's just in there because I was doing it for 3 years straight. I could always just get a job there again. Maybe have the same level, maybe a slight bump, maybe a promotion, because I think I was supposed to be up for promotion before I left, but that's what I was going for. So I had a backup plan. If I got laid off at Google, I would go back to Accenture until I figure out my next step. Because at least I would have a paycheck versus Like when you get laid off, you don't really have the choice to leave. It's not like you're getting, it's not like you're quitting. It's kind of like, okay, now I'm moving on over here. I chose to go back to Workday Financials, but I'm doing it as a paycheck really to be able to get the next thing. But right now, I'm still at Google, thankfully. But a lot has happened and I love it. The teams that I work with are really nice, really smart. Not to say that the ones at Accenture weren't, but I just really felt really good because at Accenture, it felt so professional, almost rigid in some ways. And there's a clear generation gap as well, where you see like older people, yeah, I'm not trying to say that they're older, but like there's a demographic there that kind of feels like if you were 50 years old and you were in finance, that was the type of person you'd expect. That was the category of people I saw a lot at Accenture. Then you also have the middle range people that are cool, tech, but yet a little bit traditional and a little bit high achieving, a little bit go, go, go. There's that, and they're also like usually new parents. And then you have the young generation that's like, I'm all excited to be a consultant, which most people are, and especially at Google, the same thing happens too. The difference though was that, oh my God, this video is becoming like an Accenture versus Google, but I'm saying, like I'm reflecting basically off my year at Google because my only recollection of how a full-time job is like is Accenture. So at Google, no matter how high, how low you are, they don't feel that way. It feels equal. Like everyone's chill, everyone's good. You can be yourself. Don't be 100% yourself. You don't want to curse in front of your director, but maybe your director loves to curse. Then in that case, go curse away. But it just doesn't feel that rigid of like status or levels. Like a managing director, you walk into a room, you have no clue who everyone else is in the room. It's very clear to tell who the managing director by the way everyone's acting around that managing director or the way the managing director acts. You go into the room at Google, it's actually kind of hard to tell who's a manager, who's an IC. IC means individual contributor, who's a director, who's a VP. You walk in there, it's like everyone's kind of friendly with each other, kind of. Not kind of. I guess it depends, but in my experience, it doesn't feel like there's a really strict line between everyone. So that's something I really enjoyed. There's also the part that I think I mentioned in my videos over here about how I wanted to go into product management after. And once I started to talk to some people and got a hang of my role, the main reason why I wanted to go into product management was actually just having a tangible impact on a product. And I'm already kind of in a role where I do that, or at least in a way where I can influence the product. So a lot of the things that I liked are already checked. The only difference is that when I look at the product managers and the tech area in general, not even just Google, they have really tough work-life balance. If something broke on Christmas Day, you have to be the one on the computer working with your engineers to fix it. I don't want to do that. Like technically my role, I have to be on call for my clients because Christmas shopping, hello. But at the same time when you're there, you're on call, but it's not that different because you can set them up for success with your client and you can set them up in advance with other people to cover if you had to. Like if you go on vacation and you have people that can cover for you. When you're a product manager, you have no one to cover you. You are the person. So that's what I was thinking. So that's a recap of the year. It kind of sounds more of like a rant again, Accenture versus Google, and then a little bit about like my goals that I mentioned in one of those videos and how have it manifested. But moving forward, I'm just going to, the past year, I focused on learning the role and making sure I knew a whole cycle. Like a whole year cycle means I've gone through holidays and I've gone through the before and after of the holidays. Now I'm gonna have the next holiday cycle where I know what to do or at least I know where to start looking to figure out what to do. Like a lot of the questions I asked to my buddy, like we've had every other day, we had literally calls where I had questions back and forth about asking about how to do this, where to find this, what to do for this, all of that. Now I'm actually like, scrounging for questions to ask her during those, and now we have it every other week for just one time a week. So a lot has happened since then that I was able to do that. And again, it's a lot by doing, so if you were to do it, then next time you go for the same thing, you know exactly what to do. It's not something that like someone just gave me like a rep sheet and then I memorize it and I know what to do. That's not how it's like. 1 year, I'm still feeling a Noogler. There's still some questions like, oh, how do I do a delayed 3-second screenshot? I just learned that last week. So even though it's a Noogler question, I learned it after because I realized that, oh, well, there's a need here. Why isn't this need being fulfilled? Oh, it was. I just didn't know where to look. So That's all I have. If you have any questions, just let me know down below. What do you think you would want to do after your first year? Do you think that you'd be the type to leave Google or leave a company? Or are you the type to just stay a little bit longer? Do you feel like 1 year's enough? For me personally, I'm just going to stay and just keep on getting the ropes of my course, of my actual career and my job, and then stay within Google as long as I can, unless I find something really, really good that's really compelling outside. But right now, the free food is just too tempting. All right, see you guys next time. Bye.